Why did OBS decide to stop recognizing my microphone? But yeah, how's it going, gamers? Yeah, we might have a guest later, but for right now, Gunpla, it me. And the t-shirt's probably a little bit too small for me at this point, to be honest. But either way, let's build a robot. I built a robot. I say we'll potentially get a. I say potentially. He has agreed to come and join in, but I don't know when. We will find out as and when. Right. Yep. What's that? Give me 1 second to get this bit out. I'll set up a. Hello.
Can you hear me all right?
There we go. Yep. How's it going, gamer? Yeah, we have Hatter here. The Midnight Hatter. If you
Proverbial fart in
I don't know why I'm saying if you haven't followed him already. If you follow me, you've probably seen him. Yeah, this is I actually won one of his competitions, so follow him.
I am glad that this went to a good home. I cannot wait to see what you do with it.
Oh, I can't promise it to be a good home with the plans I have for it, but well, I say plans for it like I've planned for the Chem Thrower Leo.
Well, yeah, I hope that so I also hooked you up with some of those
Yeah.
those decals that like have that kind of that warning sticker look to them.
Yeah,
I hope will prove useful.
and the very well designed logo at the top there.
Well, I do what I can.
Yeah. No, I admittedly I'm probably going to buy a second Leo because I think I'm worrying about ruining the one I've got. So I'll probably see if I can buy another Leo somewhere cheap, and then go at it basically.
I know how you feel. I'm actually kind of envious of you on this build because I have not built my own Lindwurm yet.
Yeah. Well, you're probably sick of the bowl mold at this point. After that, after the competition you did.
Yeah, that was a very humbling experience.
Well, it goes to show that even when you think you're at the top of the game, there is so much more on top of that you can learn.
Yeah, it was a fantastic experience. For those of you who build Gunpla, I cannot recommend enough that you enter some kind of build competition or something where you're going to have to submit a piece. Not only because, it helps you finish the damn thing, but also because it's just a good experience.
I must admit, this is... I am slightly nervous about this build because obviously this is potentially the only P-Bandai I'm ever going to get. Because they don't do it here in the UK. The only place in Europe they do it is France.
Why France, of all places?
Yeah, why France?
Oh, riddle me this, Bandai.
It's a good thing that none of the P-Bandai stuff particularly worries me. like, I'm sure in the future they'll do something that I'm like, yes, I absolutely need that. Come on, Bandai, give us the 100 core Gundam. You know you want to.
Honestly, that would be fantastic.
That'd be
You,
such a fun.
it's somewhat disappointing because if you think about it, the RE100 line would have been perfect for the core Gundam, but since they've discontinued that, you know,
It's a shame, but does kind of make
but a master grade core Gundam would still be pretty sweet.
Yeah, just give it just. I still need to get my hand on the Anima Rise core Gundam, but that's like more than I'm willing to pay because it's a reasonably rare kit. Maybe let's put the polycaps aside for a minute there. But no, yeah, I was having a think earlier. I know, dangerous at this time of day. But it was. Let's put that up in the corner, that reactive image there. But it was like Gunpla burnout. I've been experiencing for a little while. That's why I haven't been doing this. But my escape from that is I'm pretty sure I posted them actually on your Discord. But it was the Minipla. So it was just a change of pace, which I think gave me a decent question, which I figure as a more experienced builder than myself, you may have an answer to. How is it you deal with that burnout?
That is a good question. I think I had a recent experience myself that was something similar to what you had, where I think, I had gotten burnt out on a lot of the different projects that I had been doing, and then all of a sudden, after I started working on that real grade Epion that was gifted to me from the boys over at Zeeg New York,
Shout out to the boys.
Yeah, shout out to the boys.
I'm not saying
they're always
send me a kit, but I wouldn't be complaining.
Yeah, come on, we got to take over. We got to take care of our lads over there across the pond.
Yeah, I must admit that's one thing I'm super envious that you guys have over there, and that's that much more sense of community. Like, I'm sure there is a local Gunpla community that I just can't find, but if I can't find it, it can't be a part of it.
Right, and I think at that point, do you think that it becomes incumbent on you to start it? Because that's one of the things that I've come to realize after talking to Zeonic Shadow was that, he basically identified like a gap in the market. He was like, hey, there are a lot of builders here in New York. There's only one guy that kind of manages all of the local events and nobody likes him. So we're going to do our own thing. And it's become this kind of like cult phenomenon that's just awesome.
Admittedly, if I thought there was more of a demand for it, like, maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe there's a huge amount of demand for it, but my gut tells me that there isn't. I've got a lot of guts for that feeling to be in. I think is the best way I can describe that.
Well, I would have thought the same thing, and that's one of the reasons that it was very interesting for me to enter that build competition. Even just when the Bandai flagship store came to my town, it was like, wow, there's actually like a whole local Gunpla chapter here that I had no idea existed. So I don't know. You never know, and I think that's as played out as the old touch grass trope is. Sometimes you really do need to touch grass and find out what's.
I think that's the major difference, which makes me think I haven't found it. Therefore, there isn't. Is that unfortunately we don't have that. We don't have the local model shop here. It's a real. It's a shame because we used to have one in town, but nobody went to it, so it shut. I mean, it was mostly like model railway stuff here. It's more model building is more traditional here. It's the like the model railways, the scale modelers, stuff like that.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I mean, even just the crew that was there at the model competition I went to, it was mostly like scale military stuff, like jets and tanks and that sort of stuff.
Don't get me wrong; those guys are absolute artists. Like
Oh,
some of the
yeah.
details they can do, I could never do in 1,000 years.
I mean, they are truly, truly legends in the hobby, and I think that there used to be sort of a look down upon Gunpla builders because you don't have to use glue to assemble your kits, then you must be inferior to us. It's like that whole stigma is totally gone. It was fascinating when this guy who had only ever done model airplanes comes up to us and he says, "Hey, can you guys just explain to me, like, what is Gundam? What's this all about? What's this thing?" And we were like, "Oh, sir, please allow us."
We would say prepare your wallet, but you are already a model builder.
Right? So, yeah, it's just so, uh, and this is something that we talked about over on the Free Speech Geek podcast with Chris Riley, who he was the founder of the Uncanny Experience, which again, another like fan thing that we have in the States that you would never see overseas is this whole thing where you get to go and pretend to be a mutant at Xavier's mansion. And one of the things that Chris said is he was like, geeks are an introverted bunch, but you'd be surprised at how outgoing they can be if you just approach them and say, "Hey, tell me about this thing that you're interested in."
You bait them into talking about the autistic hyperfixation.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I say that's basically how I ended up being friends with you, wasn't it? I joined your Discord after finding Gundam 5e, and then I was just like, hey, I'm gonna just rant about my hyperfixations for a bit, and you're like, oh, cool.
Pretty much. And I'm pretty sure I don't recall whether it was before or after you joined the Discord, but I remember stumbling upon one of your Twitch streams where you were just doing Breath of the Wild challenges. And at the time, I thought you were so much older than you are because your voice is so, deep and authoritative.
Welcome to growing up in a very loud family. Love them to bits, but Jesus, my family's loud.
Yeah, that can definitely be a blessing and a curse.
Yeah. Well, I say I wouldn't change them for the world, but if you know, you know. I'll put it that way. But yeah, no,
So
it's
I mean, I know you're only just a few pieces in, but how are you feeling about the build so far?
it feels about right, but again, I am just starting now, so I'm not gonna make a call because I could get to the end of it like I'm fucking sick of looking at this thing. Was it just as an example, the mini player I was building. Don't get me wrong, it's a really cool build. The King Oja mecha. I got two of the sets, but like it's very stiff. Like a lot of the joints squeak when you try and move them, and that doesn't happen with Gunpla. So it has helped me appreciate Gunpla a bit more. But as a fan of the chunkier mecha, the more over the top side of things as well. Come on, that's really cool.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. My only complaint is that normally the dragonfly sword, which the normal one uses, just gets put on the side, and that's my only major complaint. But I found out that if you rejig it a bit, you can put it on the back. And I think that's really cool.
Ooh.
And it does obviously all come to bits, but I won't do that on this. I'll just put... Yeah, no, I want to get my hands on a couple more Minipla, but that's more because I'm also a Sentai fan, rather. Like, I'd love to get my hands on the Mini-Pla King or the Wild Force Megazord, which has recently come out.
Now, these are newer Sentai series than what I'm used to. So I think the last Megazord that I really liked and like appreciated was the I don't remember if it was Space or Lost Galaxy. Which one turned into a giant ship that kind of looked like
That would be in space because it had the little shuttle that flew out the front.
Yeah, exactly. It kind of looked like a giant donut. It reminded me of the Ashimar from Zeta Gundam.
Yeah, I can see that actually. But yeah, that was in space. The Astro Megazord, and yes, it has a Super Mini-Pla. I think most of in
Yes,
space.
and maybe I need to pick that up.
I would recommend it. The Mini-Plas they're a different build, but it's I won't say easier because obviously smaller scale transformation there is going to be the little bits, but I would highly recommend it. It was good fun.
Nice.
And it comes with a little snack so you don't get hungry while you're building. And I'm not talking about the plastic flakes.
So now, something interesting I can already see from the white runner that you've been snipping from, that is almost exactly the same runner that comes with the RE100 Bawu.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you are aware, but in case people aren't, this is essentially somewhere between the Zeta and the Bawu. It's Bawu mechanically, but it just looks like the Zeta Gundam.
Yeah, I think it's not going to start to feel like the Zeta until you get to the chest and head
Yeah.
because everything
Well,
else
once
is very Bawu.
Yeah, it is a transforming. It comes into 2 bits. I just gushed on it how much I like Megazord, so I can't really complain about parts forming. But no, that was I think it was it was either you or it was Alt that retweeted it a little while ago that they're like, oh, this is this kind of mecha, this is this kind of mecha, this is this kind of mecha, to kind of highlight the not the hypocrisy, but the kind of elitism in the mecha fandom as a whole.
Yeah, there does seem to be a bit of that, doesn't there?
Which honestly is a shame.
Yeah, I mean,
I will laugh so much if I've got all this on the stream, but everyone finally got us to come and get in a Discord call, and there it is. I'm just blind. It's fine. Which ones? Yeah, I must admit, this I don't know why, but the Lindwurm gives me like almost like racing mobile suit vibes.
I can see that.
Like the Bawu by itself does kind of already. So I was considering doing this once I've built it and I've had a chance to sit with it for a bit. Think about doing something like that.
You know what would be very interesting, and this just popped into my head when you said like racing mobile suit, is how cool would it be to have like a custom Bawu that was that featured parts from the what is Spike Spiegel's ship in Cowboy Bebop?
The Stingray?
Something like
the
that,
the red one. I know the one you're on about.
The red one.
I'm gonna have to Google that. It's gonna bug me.
I know, same here. Let me take a look here.
Oh, Echo. This is Hatter. He is the reason I'm autistic about Gundam. I was like, Cowboy B.
Yeah, the swordfish too.
Swordfish, not Stingray.
It was some aquatic.
Yeah, it was vaguely aquatic. I'm counting that as a moral victory.
But I mean, if you look at the silhouette of the sting, or now you got me doing it, the silhouette of the swordfish, it looks like the Bawu attacker.
Yeah,
So
I can see that. I can see that. And also, I'm going to say this now so we can have the immature laughing moment, because it is both the crotch and called the nutter. So, very mature. What am I saying? That is funny.
They knew what they were doing.
Yeah, they absolutely knew what they were doing.
My wife actually asked me the question this morning. And I'm surprised that this is the first time it's ever come up. She said, "Wait, does Gundam mean anything, or is it just a word they made up?" And I was like, "Let me tell you the story about Quattro Vagina."
He had an 8-pack.
Yeah, everything in Gundam has a silly name.
There is. Oh, gaming echo. That's good to hear. But no, it's I think the best way I've ever heard Gundam described is it's like an open secret. Like, it's not like unknown, but you need to do very little digging to actually find it.
Right. Well, and I forget whether so it was 2013 that Gundam was what, the 5th most popular franchise worldwide or something like that.
Something around. I must admit that's the one thing I will say that Minipla has over Gunpla, and that is that where there's way fewer pieces, it's way easier to find bits.
Well, that was one of the things I mentioned about the real grade tall geese, the real grade Epion, is that one of the nice things about that particular kit, and I don't know if this is true for all real grades, it definitely was not my experience the first real grade that I built, but they seem to kind of group the parts together in a way that makes a lot of sense, so that you're not like fishing around on 4 or 5 different runners trying to find these different parts, you know?
Yeah, no, I think, well, as you do 3D printing, that's something that you'll find is quite often in like downloaded STL files and such, is that like parts are grouped together.
Right, as they should be.
Although I do wonder if that's less the builder's experience and more just it will cost us less money to group these parts together. Because don't get me wrong, I'm sure that decisions are made on this will make the build experience better, but how much of that is there before it's not worth the extra cost, if that makes sense?
Oh, definitely. I know exactly what you mean. There's a limit to which designers and engineers will work for the convenience of the consumer.
Yeah. And I say that as someone who has studied engineering. I won't say it as an engineer, because I haven't worked as an engineer, and I think that would be, I don't want to say unfair of me to say, but
Well, I mean, I think anyone who's done any kind of production environment has had some experience. You know, it's like when I make my opinions about video games, and I'm like, look, I'm not saying this as a game designer, but as someone who has amateur worked on games, I can tell you this, that, and the other.
yeah,
things,
no,
you know?
that's one of the most annoying things is people saying things with no experience in it. As I'm sure
Precisely.
anyone who's ever had to basically deal with the other end of that, being the explained your job by a random sort of thing.
One of those how do I open a PDF types.
Yeah. You're useless, but also how do I do this very basic thing?
Exactly.
It's like we had a bloke come in the other day at work. If you don't know, I work as a distiller and a bartender. So I like to think I know what I'm talking about when it comes to alcohol. I feel like it's not
Yeah.
an unfair assumption to make.
No, I'd say that that's and you're an experienced drinker of alcohol, so
Oh yeah, but that doesn't really play into it because I've met many people who come into the bar who drink heavily but have no idea how about alcohol. I think it's the politest way I can put that. But he came in and he was like, "Oh well, you're not distilling it right. Oh, what's your experience in it? Well, it's not gone in a barrel. No, it's gin. It doesn't. Well, we do have one that goes in a barrel, but that's like
that's an
beside the
exclusive
point.
deal.
No. To be distilling, it has to go in a barrel." And I was like, I could go on a rant, but I'm not going to. I try not to be too ranty here, because if I start going off, I'm not going to be able to stop. Yeah, but it's you'd figure if because he came for a distillery tour, so I assume he know I had assumed that he would know that we know what we were on about.
I mean, you would expect that.
Yeah, I'll give you a tour, and I've got no fucking clue what I'm talking. Yeah, but it was if you've ever worked like service or retail, then you understand my point here.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone should at some point. Everyone should work.
Yeah,
in
work.
Either food service or
Everyone
retail.
everyone should work retail, less because it's character building and stuff, and more because you have no idea how stupid the general public is until you've had to sit there and smile as they fuck everything up, basically.
Yeah, well, and hopefully it gives people an appreciation for things that they don't understand. Like for instance, the things that Adam and I are always talking about when people call game devs lazy because it's like you didn't, patch this thing that I noticed. It's like, well,
Do you know how many bugs are noticed per day?
right, exactly.
Uh, a weird like top bit here. Obviously, that comes out like so. Yeah, thrust. But it's nice. It clips together nicely. That like drop head plate. That's very Zeta-esque, isn't it? That whole like just I'm going to transform. The head goes in.
Yeah, that is. Well, I think the Bawu does that too.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of
it's like a turtle.
I would say it's kind of a prerogative for all transforming mobile suits. And then I just look up and go, oh yeah, that's right. I've got the Wing Gundam up there, which just like turns it 180 degrees and hopes you don't notice. Again, potentially sacrilege, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I don't like Wing Gundam. It's not the. I wouldn't say it's the worst Gundam. I wouldn't say there is a worst Gundam. Yes, there is. It's Seed. No, I'm just kidding. But like, just because I don't vibe with it doesn't mean it's not good. I think is the long and short on that.
Yeah, for sure. And I've come to accept that over the years too. It's like, G Gundam's not my favorite, but it is some people's, and therefore, their opinion is valid even if it's wrong.
But no, it's what was that? I've got a friend at work, and I was discussing it, and he was like, all things considered, do you not think like Mecha is very childish? I was like, not really. It's no more childish than like Lord of the Rings and such. But that did make me question whether like, is there like almost a social stigma about like, oh, I like the big robot. So I feel like Oh, there's a dog.
Pardon my dog. She's just excited.
No, Toby, it's not one outside. His ears just perked up.
Oh.
He's over there curled up in bed.
No, go on. You were saying that there's like a social stigma around, and I would say it's not even necessarily just around giant robots, right? It's about like anything. Yeah, there's people online that are like, adults shouldn't be watching any cartoons. It's brr, brr, brr.
But no, it was less that and more like, is it just perceived to be childish? Where I think unavoidably Mecha is very like toy sale focused. Like let's like, yeah, there are good stories come out of it, but let's face it, Gundam is a toy commercial. I'm a Kamen Rider fan. I couldn't be like, oh yes, it's all right, and we need to be more serious about it. But sitting here with Kamen Rider belts all over the place.
You know, I've thought a lot about that recently. You know, there's always like the war about things that men should and shouldn't be doing with their time, right? Like, especially, you know, I'm an older guy, right? Like, I have a kid, a wife, a mortgage, all those things, and it's like, hey, shouldn't you stop playing with toy robots? That's like, I don't know, maybe like, should you stop watching football? Like, you know, you could make those arguments about anything.
Mm.
And I say this as someone who only maybe like man, how long's it been? About 6 years ago, I stopped playing soccer, or as you would call it, football.
As we correctly call it.
Where's your World Cup, sir?
Pardon?
Well, I mean, we don't have one either, so.
We do have a World Cup.
Well, you haven't won one in a while.
Yeah, that's fair. After the fucking year.
Let's be honest, that one's not coming home.
You know, I will. Well, yes, it is the funny. I'll give you fair warning. Don't say that to like a proper like British person who's properly into it, because
Oh, no, definitely not. Did you see that one commercial? I forget what it was for, but it was during one of the World Cups, and you know, it's this English man and his son going to the elevator, and they've got their Three Lions jerseys on, and they're singing, you know, two World Wars and one World Cup, England, England, and then they get onto the elevator with a bunch of German fans. And the son starts. He's like, two world wars, and the dad
yeah.
cups his mouth like.
Just so you know, this isn't like news to if you've ever seen British football. Like, British football fans just do not give a shit. They will be like, there's like, it's comedic. Don't get me wrong, but it is still incredibly racist.
It is.
And it's, well, some will take it seriously, but most don't. It's just that's the culture around it. And I understand for some people that's like, people. I'm sure I'm gonna have people go, that's fucked up. But like, I've seen what you Americans do around fucking Super Bowl season. I think I don't fucking see that. I was about to say the long and short of that argument for me is sports is essentially the modern version of the tribalism that humanity has kind of relied on. So unless you're willing to basically fight against the primitive mind, which if you are any amount of aware of human mind, you know, it's not a smart idea.
No, God help you for trying. And I mean, it's, you know, it's like the modern day gladiators, right? You know, we all have like that tribalistic instinct hardwired into our DNA. It
Yeah,
just
the basic
ways.
human instincts to protect the tribe and fear the outsider.
Exactly. And so would you rather us be arguing about anime, you know, making slurs while we're watching while we're watching the Euros, or bombing people? and I would say that the first two are infinitely better choices.
Yeah, I think that's the simplest way to put it. But yeah, no, it's
Now, I mean, obviously, don't go out and hit people if they don't like the same anime as you.
or do we're not your boss. I wouldn't recommend it, but
live, live. Um. Oh my gosh.
that's uh that's it is a weird one because I would argue that there is. I'd say this partially as a joke, but also it really isn't. There's very much the male instinct of I have got this big machine.
Oh yeah.
Like
The masculine desire to.
the masculine need for a forklift license, if you will.
Yeah, precisely.
No, it's because as a fan of heritage railways, it's not too dissimilar. Like there is this big powerful thing that I am in control of, and I wonder how much of that is. Well, it's so universal that's got to be like some part of human nature somewhere along the lines, doesn't it?
Definitely, definitely. I think it was you who brought up just the idea of, when a man sees like other men building things, and you're like, oh yeah, like men will see this and say, hell yeah.
Yeah. No, I think the best example I had that was like I won't say recent, but it was relatively recent. But I posted in your Discord, and it was like an hour-long video of someone building a workshop, and I was like, "Is it weird that I'm like, oh no, yeah, I could do that." It was the B3.
Ooh, the fancy stickers.
The damn boy, he's thick one. No, I can't remember who it was on Twitter that was, and I'm pretty sure I've showed you it before. But the vent parts using like zip ties.
Ooh, yeah, that's a very clever idea. You just snip them down to length.
Yeah, just like cut them to shape, and then obviously it gives that depth more than just. I forget which mobile suit was. For example, it's one of the ones with the. Just remind me because it's one of the ones where it's got like the things come out the back there that have huge events. God,
Yeah.
which one was it?
And all you have to do is stack them. You don't even have to like position them in a creative way because they already have that, like you said, that depth.
Hmm. Right, don't do what I'm about to do. It's very dumb.
Are you going to cut towards yourself?
No, it's a very small piece that I'm using my finger on the end to help stabilize it. To be fair, I probably should have cut towards myself. It's only fat there, isn't it? Yeah, the only reason the my always go to one is the only reason I'm in shape is because a sphere is a shape. It's weird because where my co-workers are, there's one bloke and two ladies, and I'll say that, and the bloke will be like, "Yeah, I get it," but the woman will be like, "No, you don't need to want to put yourself down like that," and I'm like, "What? I don't get that. It's just it's odd. There is the difference, but before this turns into
The irony of
fucking
that is that ladies can be the biggest bullies of all time.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's funny to me, and I was having this conversation with my wife. Was the actress that plays Starlight on The Boys,
Mm.
and how everyone's been giving her a hard time about allegedly having some work done on her face. I was thinking to myself, there is no way that a man ever said anything to her that would make her feel insecure about her facial appearance. But I bet you a woman did.
Yeah.
And now men are making memes about it.
Well, it was what was it a little while ago? It was which would you rather have be followed by a man in the woods or by a bear? And everyone was like, "Oh no, it's the bear, it's the bear." And if you're upset with that, you're the problem. But then when someone turned around and was like, "All right, well, for men, just so you can get your head around this question, who would you rather tell your feelings to, a tree or a woman?" And when most men said, "Yeah, no, I'll go for a woman, not a woman, a tree," they were like, "What? How could you? It wouldn't understand you and all that." It's like, yeah, but it wouldn't hold it against me. And I don't know, that piece seems very thin. I'm gonna have to be careful with that. But no, it's and well, there is still that stigma. We're kind of just back around to stigmas, but I wonder if we should be lightening the mood slightly. But no, it's this is why you will come to my stream. It's either like the most dumb shit you've ever seen, or oh, this is philosophy 101. Strap in, fuckos. Why do I do this to myself?
That's why I tune in.
I was about to say, I haven't done a Zeta, but yes, I have. I've done 2 of them. I've done the shit
I was
one.
gonna say you've done the worst of the Zetas.
And the high grade one, which was a good build.
Wait, no, the real grade. The high grade is a good one.
Yeah, no, that's what I said. And I did the high grade one, which was a good build. That real grade one.
Oh, I thought you did the real grade too.
I did
or
both.
Do you just have it?
I've done. I did both. The real grade is currently in my fucking spares bit because it fell to bits.
That's probably all it's good for.
Yeah, eventually I'll nick pieces off it to do customs. There's also the first Shatria in there, which also fell apart. You tell your feelings to a bear. Fair enough. I must admit, this is. I understand it's a necessity and all that, but pet peeve when you have 2 runners that are like both E1.
Oh yeah, right.
That's a pet peeve of mine when it comes to building. What about you? Did you have any?
Stay away from. I was gonna say stay away from Kotobukiya kits because they have both like letters, numbers, and katakana. So it's like, good luck. Is this an N or is it like a katakana?
And that's Yeah, so do you have any pet peeves about when you're building? Also, I'm gonna turn the overhead on 1 second.
Oh yeah. Please fire on the overhead.
There we go. It just suddenly clouded over outside, so it acted like the window's gone away.
Props to both Twitch and Discord because I am experiencing very little latency between watching the stream and speaking on it.
Mm. Although how much of that is we both have half decent internet connection?
Fair enough. That's probably part of it. But yeah, I think I don't like any part of building.
Yeah, you were saying this actually on your live stream the other day. It's like your least favorite part of Gunpla is building it.
If I could snap my fingers and the Gunpla already be made, and then I can go in and start cutting parts off and customizing, then I would definitely do that.
Called an action figure, gamer. I'm about to blow your mind. No, it's
don't you put that on me.
But no,
that's so funny. Over on the Gundam Explained Discord, someone was like, hey, is it wrong to be a Gundam fan, but I don't buy the model kits? I only buy the action figures and the robot spirits that are more expensive but look better. And
What no? If you enjoy it, you are a fan.
exactly,
That's
well
it.
said.
I'll give props to the Gundam fandom, but it's there is gatekeeping. There is gatekeeping. Like, don't misconstrue my words for a second here, but it's like there's not like, oh, you have to enjoy in this way, unless you're talking about like, oh, hey, my favorite one is not Universal Sin, and then the fucking Grognards have a
Pretty much.
Admittedly, I maybe this is just I am a newer fan to Gundam. Like I said, my first Gundam was Unicorn on Netflix, which it was good. Don't get me wrong; it was an excellent. It is excellent. Probably wasn't the best place to start. Now I know the whole story, but it's a start. But well, you know this, Hatter, but my favorite Gundam series is Build because I love me a gimmick.
And that is a great gimmick. I mean, it's you know what's interesting is for like there's a lot of people that I would consider like hardcore fans that Build as their favorite series because it's like, oh, this is a love letter to me, you know? Like
Yeah.
this is, which is cool. I'm glad that people can find that type of representation.
Now, I must admit, obviously, I have criticisms of Build. I wish it wasn't just, hey, this is a Gunpla commercial now. Because that's what the original Build series was. It was, hey, isn't Gunpla cool? Maybe you should buy some. It's like that, the clip of Darth Vader. Yo, the Empire's pretty chill. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's.
I mean that's definitely like mask off when it comes to this is a commercial.
Oh, thank you very much for the subscription, iTanbei Inc.
Hey, cheers.
Yeah, the YouTube description, which I apparently have not set up Streamlabs correctly for.
Ooh.
But yeah. Yeah, no, it was yeah, so sorry, as you were saying.
Oh yeah. So I mean, it's pretty much the veneer is off, right? Like it's we're admitting that this is just a toy commercial when we make it like literally just the toys.
Mm. Admittedly, is what
But
kind of why I enjoyed Re-Rise. Not only because Core Gundam, which second favorite mobile suit, favorite Gundam, but it's a case of it kind of strays more away from that. Well, it is obviously about
right.
Gunpla. It's not like the central plot isn't, hey, isn't Gunpla cool? It's not a good
But there's some
story.
more
Don't get me,
stakes
actually.
involved.
I say that I enjoyed the story, but the long and short of it is, it's more of a. It is kind of a super robot story, isn't it? All things considered.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say so.
Yeah. So that does bring me to another topic I want to discuss. How do you define like a good mobile suit? Like ones that you like versus ones you don't. What's your criteria for a good mobile suit? Because mine is, as I said before, I love a gimmick. They do something
No, I'm
interesting. They have a cool like story implication.
Yeah, and you know what? I think that I agree with you on that because I remember having this conversation on the Gundam Explained podcast, and I was like, what's your favorite Gundam from Gundam Wing? And I was like, well, the Shenlong or the Epion because they have like a neat gimmick. Like they have pole arm, either like the Shenlong has pole arm and like the extendable arm, and then the Epion is like an all melee mobile suit. So it's like they have that gimmick to them. Now I think uh, you and I probably have a slightly different definition of gimmick, where it's like I'm thinking, I guess, of gimmick in terms of, well, no, I think no, actually, I think you and I have the exact same definition of
Just
gimmick, because the core Gundam is
it
a
does
gimmick
some.
that I
It
like.
does something. It does something. Is my definition of a gimmick.
Exactly.
There we go.
As
There's
long as it does something interesting outside of the norm. And I know that there are people that, like, hate the Ifrit Noct, for instance, because they're like, how do you have a ninja mobile suit? And I'm like, I don't care. It's awesome.
yeah. Basically, I need that. My big like definition for a gimmick is it has a whoa moment. So you're sitting there, it will do something, you just go, whoa, that's cool, or whoa, that's stupid. But it has to have that whoa moment. I like Gundams that have talking points. That isn't just, oh, it is robot. Don't get me wrong, I love me a grunt suit. Like, there is no way to be a Gundam fan without kneeling to the West and praising Zaku 3 times a day. But no, everyone loves a grunt suit, but there is no better way to improve a mobile suit than with a cool gimmick.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and even in the context of Gundam Wing, I would say, like, the Ares is an example of a grunt suit that has a gimmick, and that's why it's my favorite grunt suit.
Yeah. I don't think what my favorite grunt suit actually is, and I think I have to agree with you. It's either got to be the Ares or it's got to be the Zaku Crane, which I suppose isn't technically a grunt suit, but it's a Zaku, it counts.
We'll allow it.
Or what's the one from Gundam 00?
The Tieran?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that one as well.
It's just a cool design. Like that's the two
It
ways to get to me. It's either you have a really cool, memorable gimmick, or I just look at it and go, that looks so fucking cool. I am a simple man, and I will never claim to be anything else.
Yeah, just be cool. That's all it takes. Isn't it crazy?
Like, it's like I'm pretty sure I've said this to you. You were playing something. It was one of the Gundam ones, and it was the Queen Mantha. You're playing as the Queen Mantha. Don't know, it's developed into Kshatriya. Kshatriya is my favorite mobile suit. You can. I think you actually asked me, like, hey, I know the Kshatriya's favorite, and why? And why is that? I think I literally replied with big wing. That was it. There's no like deeper reason. It just looks really cool and does something cool.
And it's funny you mentioned that, because because the Queen Mantha is probably one of my it's definitely in my top 5 mobile suits. But for some reason the Kshatriya doesn't do it for me, and it's like you'd think it would, because it's like, hey, that thing that has 2 of the thing you like? This one has 4.
Okay, here's my thought on it. I think you like it because the wing, the Queen Mantha has a much more commanding silhouette. Like, from the front on, those 2 wings are much more commanding, but you do like a chunky robot. You don't like them like heavy, and the Kshatriya is very much a heavy suit.
That's true. That's another way to win our hearts, right, though, is a little bit of chunk.
Oh, absolutely. Every man loves a robot with a little bit of chunk.
If there's not some cushion for pushing, then do not.
You heard? I managed to bait you in saying it. You heard it here first. Hatter wants to fuck a robot. Implying I wouldn't if I'd had the chance. So, fair enough.
I think we all would.
Yeah.
You need to insert that one of those clips. Just wood.
Yeah, would. Or that danger sign: "Do not fist the android girls." That's no, okay. If I think the oh, Echo, don't act like you wouldn't, gamer. The fucking vor fetishist over there. I will point out that is a meme, but it's also funny as shit to take the mick out of Echo for it. Yeah, no, it's uh, keeping kind of on the same thing as it. Like I was discussing on my Discord the other day, where in case you didn't know, I've been playing Starbound. It's a very good game. It's Terraria in space, but I've been working on single player on my own ship, and we were having a debate the other day on like top 5 ships from sci-fi, and I think there's like
Okay.
2 major camps to this. There's the hard. It's basically it's hard versus soft sci-fi. The soft sci-fi ones will prefer like cooler looking conceptual ships, whereas the hard sci-fi people are like, yes, I absolutely love this one specific series because they did the science and it makes my dick hard. I think it's the simple way of doing it. But it does beg the question:
Much.
uh, top five sci-fi ships.
Ooh, for me.
Yeah,
Ooh, putting me on the spot. I guess they're going to be very different for very different reasons. So, in no particular order. The Event Horizon makes my top 5.
that's a good
Um,
one. Person,
yeah,
personally, it doesn't crack my top 5, but I understand the appeal.
yeah, exactly. Well, it's like not for me, but I get it. uh, I do love the Ebon Hawk from Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic.
Mm,
Um, let's see, the Swordfish from Cowboy Bebop. That's
yeah,
another fun one. Yeah, let's see, 2 more. Hmm. I want to say the Argama from Gundam, well,
yeah,
Zeta Gundam in particular. Mostly, I just love that spinning wheel thing on the back.
yeah. That's
And
fair.
and then, hmm,
That's a very Gundam-esque head. I know it's pretty much just the Zeta head. A very
oh yes.
quintessentially Gundam.
Now, does the V fin fold in like it does with the Zeta?
No, there's not.
Oh, interesting. I'm surprised that it doesn't.
No, me too.
But yeah, I guess the last ship, um, let's say the Firefly or well, the Firefly class Serenity
Yeah,
from
about to say the
Firefly.
Serenity. I always get that mixed up as well.
Right. Well, it's so funny because that's the same thing like Tomino did in the novelization of Gundam, where it was like the cartoon is the Pegasus class white base, and then in the book it's the white base class Pegasus, and it's like,
Yeah.
why'd you do this?
Okay, so my top 5 is I'll agree with you. Serenity is an absolutely fantastic design. The Venator class Star Destroyer, the red one from Clone Wars. For those who are not
Ooh,
who are
yeah,
not, like I don't like most modern Star Wars stuff, but the Venator class does it.
that's fair.
I would go with rather than the Argama, I'll go with the Ptolemy. I think it is the blue one with the like 4 cargo docks around it.
Yeah, yeah, that one's pretty sweet.
A weird pick, but this comes to my this is again part of my, oh, that just looks so cool. The ancient starship from Spectrobes.
Okay.
If you haven't seen it, go and look it up quick. One of the like ancient civilization space going sort of ship designs. But
Yeah.
you can't tell me that's not a really cool design.
Nope, that's pretty sweet.
Mm.
So what I'm gathering from your examples. Now wait, that was only 4,
Yes.
right? Oh, so what's the 5th one?
The Rosinante from The Expanse.
I never saw The Expanse.
I'd recommend it. It's good.
But I think that kind of goes into what you were saying, right? Because The Expanse is pretty hard sci-fi, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of goes into what I would theorize based upon the examples of ships you like. You definitely are a utilitarian, like functional ship, like freighters and
Absolutely.
like
I
work
love
ships.
I love ships with basically they have a very obvious purpose. It's like Battlestar Galactica. I absolutely love it. It barely doesn't crack my top 5. It's probably like number 6 or 7 maybe.
Wow.
Like it's such a utilitarian ship. Like you can tell it's very much essentially a colony ship first.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's also why I absolutely hate the base stars. Because they're such a stupid design. And I hate them.
Understandable.
Yeah, no, it's a no shame if you like it sort of thing, but no, yeah, Spectrobes was my shit as a kid. I think it's such a shame that it was so dumbed down because the design, like heresy from a Pokemon fan, but Spectrobe designs were cooler than Pokemon. The whole like unified aesthetic of ancient sculptures or drawings or such was such a cool idea, and it was so badly completely wrecked by basic rock paper scissors gameplay.
That's a shame.
I think the last one where it kind of got better was Spectrobe's Origins on the Wii, and that had 5 types. That's it. That's your lot. And I think that just completely killed. Like, I don't think it's controversial to say Pokemon lives or dies on its competitive scene. Like the Pokemon games, if it doesn't have a competitive scene, it's gone. I don't think that's too controversial to say.
No, I think that's you could say the same about lots of different franchises. The although the casual fan base, you could argue that like the casual fan base supplies the currency, the competitive fan base supplies the passion.
Yeah,
Would you? Is that a
yeah, I think
fair
that's a
assessment?
good way of explaining it. But how many people? But the thing is, it's not the casual players that are still playing like 8 years after release.
Exactly. Exactly.
And so,
Now, do you think that there's an ideal on that note? Like, do you think there's an ideal when it comes to those type of games where you have like different classes, and in the case of Pokemon, it's like types, right? In the case of like GBO2, you have your, raid, support, what have you.
yeah,
Do you think that there's an ideal number of classes that can balance a game when it's being
the answer
created?
is 9, and the game's called Team Fortress 2.
Well, that was definitive.
And you can call me Billy Blue biased bollocks on this one, because in case you guys hadn't figured out, my name is from Team Fortress 2.
Never would have guessed.
So, but I stand by the fact that at its peak, I won't say now it's not at its peak now. The bot problem is better than it was, but it's not solved.
Mm.
But at its peak, Team Fortress 2 was the most fun game I have ever played.
Wow. That's a ringing endorsement.
Yeah, I don't think I can recommend a game more than Team Fortress 2 at its peak. Unfortunately, as I said, it is not its peak right now. Maybe maybe it will enter a new golden era, but I don't think it'll ever die. I think it's been around too long now. It's got the longevity. But what is keeping it alive at the moment is the trading market.
Yeah, and it's such a like cultural zeitgeist type thing. Like the number of I've never played Team Fortress myself, and yet the number of memes is
Oh, absolutely
just baffling. And sometimes memes are what help things live on, right? Like,
yeah.
You know, does anyone still rate the Star Wars prequels? Probably not. Like, you know, maybe there are some authentic Star Wars prequels fans, but I think a lot of them are just solely like the memes are funny.
Yeah. I feel like that is exactly the point that how do I articulate this? I try to be funny on this show, and it's not particularly funny when I just unironically love something.
It can be funny.
Well, it depends on what you're unironically loving, I suppose.
Whatever is following this sentence could make or break this stream.
Yeah.
No pressure.
Yeah. I'm just cutting the thought there. It's fine, guys. No, but it's I don't. Yeah, I think the best way of me saying it is I don't think I would be the person today if I hadn't been playing TF2. But I certainly wouldn't be called the unusualist pyro. I'd probably still be Pyro Man.
Mm.
Yeah, my first Minecraft username was Pyromancer0703. I have no shame about that. What am I looking for? Where am I? I want D11.
Still lacking that unusual.
Yeah. Well, for a while, I tried to be a Splatoon YouTuber. Don't fucking go there and don't try and look for the YouTube videos because I deleted them.
Oh, you're no fun.
But for a long while, my profile picture wasn't in. I can't remember what I was called. But it was still post TF2, so a lot of my thoughts on the game were comparing it to the only other like team-based game I played a lot of. Where did You know when one of the it is. I'm not going nuts. It is there. Don't worry. I'm just having a stroke. Apparently.
Call the bondulance.
Game's nonsense. Call the bondulance. No, it's that's still one of the funniest memes ever made. Famed nons having a stroke. These two, what? Game names the bond. God, this is why I will never take the mick out of people for laughing at shit. Because if you find something funny, fucking laugh at it. There's no reason for you to not laugh at something you find funny. enjoy what you enjoy. Don't hate other people for what they enjoy. Long shot.
Thank you for attending this TED Talk.
That was my TED talk. Now for 5 minutes of us blowing raspberries to balance out the intellectual property. No, that's it's quite a weird thing. But no, it's no, I know I posted there, but I posted. I think you've seen it, but I've started work on a new tabletop RPG project based on 2D side scrolling. Because I thought there was one, but there isn't.
And so I've been meaning to ask about this particular project because it's one of those things that you know, what you're trying to capture the essence of something that is so I guess esoteric, like that experience of playing a 2D side scrolling, Metroidvania type platformer, right?
Yeah.
And so how do you do that in tabletop? I have to say that is super ambitious.
Well, that is the question I am seeking to answer with this project. It was right now. I've made 2 classes for it. One is based on Hollow Knight, and one is based on Metal Slug and Contra, like that sort of like 2D side-scrolling shoot 'em. And Hollow Knight, I think, will work better as being a Souls-like. It's a much slower game. If you've played Hollow Knight, you won't think it's very slow, but if you think about it, Hollow Knight is a very exploration-based game. It's very much based around the same kind of growth that a tabletop RPG would have. But Metal Slug, I've really struggled with because where that's a lot faster paced. Yeah, faster paced. That just sounded wrong coming off my tongue for a second. But it was because a lot of like fast paced one is like you hit once you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
Respawn, but I didn't want to introduce a lives mechanic. But the other thing about Metal Slug is the shitload of guns. If you have not,
if you comical amount of guns,
if you have not played Metal Slug, please do yourself a favor. It's such a fun game. I think 1, 2, and 10 are on Steam.
Well, and it's such a distinctive art style too. I mean,
yeah, I stand by.
That can be said for a lot of the games that you're basing this on, right? Like, I mean, Hollow Knight and Castlevania. These are all games that are really defined by their art style.
I wouldn't say Castlevania is, but Hollow Knight definitely is. And I'd say Hollow Knight is less art style and more aesthetic.
Ah, yeah, well said.
I know as a graphic designer yourself, but I've got my GCSE in graphic design, so I think I know what I'm on about. Just to go back to that earlier statement of don't you hate it with someone with no experience? No, but in all seriousness, I think I do partially agree because Hollow Knight's art style is part of its aesthetic, but I'd say Hollow Knight is much more about its world than like the characters and stuff, and that's how the like almost uncanniness of the Hollow Knight class is at the moment. Because I think mechanics wise, it's down pretty good. With the just one person playtesting I've done, it seems to work pretty well, but obviously I will need to do proper playtesting before I say yes, done. But as I said, the Metal Slug one has ended up being like a glass cannon-y sort of build.
Okay.
But I don't know if I'm happy with it, so I might end up just. But I thought it was an interesting enough concept to pursue. But I think is it's potentially going to be really good, I reckon, but I have to do it right.
Well, isn't that everything, right?
Yeah,
It's like it's all in the execution.
yeah. But as someone who has developed your own system, even though you have now handed it over to Legion, who I think is doing an excellent job with it, I'm sure you'll agree.
Yeah,
But
I could not.
he did
I could
eventually
not be
come to
happier
the
with.
same conclusion as you as, yeah, this probably needs a complete rewrite.
Yeah, that's well, you know, it's one of those things where originally I thought, hey, what's the easiest way to develop a tabletop role playing game that people can get a hold of like really
Hmm.
easily? Well, let's base it on something that's extremely popular. Well, yes, that means that people can grasp the core concepts very easily, but the kind of trade-off there is that like D&D is a very clunky system to try and adapt to
Oh,
something that's not.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think you probably there is a couple of ways you could have gone about it. Like instead of basically moving into the setting, you could move. You could have done it like as a class, and it just like, oh hey, this Gundam's a class feature. But I think the way you did it probably was better for the overall player experience.
Maybe. I don't know. You know, I go back and forth about
As someone who I won't say got in at the ground floor, but I was
it. You
relatively
were
early in your channel.
pretty. Yeah, I was gonna say you were there pretty early on for sure,
Well,
and a
I
lot
wasn't
of
there at the
your
beginning.
Gunpla.
You'd had a few videos out on it, but the development of it, I think, was an interesting process to watch. But as a DM, there is multiple things that I did have notes on it. Like I wanted a hijacking system, and I made it.
True.
And up until what was it, middle of last month, I wanted 8 guys on a base jammer.
We got there eventually.
Yeah, we got there eventually. I can't believe the thing that pushed you over was when I got the receipts of saying, "Oh yeah, when you pay for it," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm a patron now. Give me."
Yep, that's i- ultimately, if there's one takeaway, if there's anything you want done, you know, just pay someone to do it, and they'll cave.
And that's basically just modern society, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh god, I hate saying "isn't it" because like obviously the British in it very close. And I saw a fucking
Look,
terrible meme the other day. And it was when you ask your so let me see if I can't find it. I'll send it to you.
ooh, that brings up while you're searching for that, I have a grammatical question for you. I'm curious that if you'll have the answer.
Mhm.
Uh, so there are two forms of conjunction for this particular sentence. You are not. You can say you're not, or you can say you aren't, right? That's like two different ways that you can conjoin the words. Either
Yeah, I'd
you're
say
conjoining
they're
you
probably
are.
both grammatically correct.
Yeah, but is there one that's like definitively correct?
I don't think so. Right, I'll send you this because it's a terrible meme, and I don't want to play it because it is a clip from SpongeBob, and they are and copyright basically.
Ooh, yes. Do not trigger the copyright cops.
It's a terrible, terrible meme. It's funny.
I saw this one across my feed.
I'll put it in the Discord later for any. Yaunt. No, Echo. I'm no teacher, but I'm pretty sure that is wrong. Echo has said it's yaunt.
Yaunt.
Yeah, your apostrophe nt. Yaunt. Sounds like a fucking sounds like a bootleg D&D enemy, doesn't it? The yaunt stumbles out of its cave.
You know what? I'd put it in my game.
Yeah, that's fair. But no, it's I do want to do more tabletops. Maybe I'll go back to doing like D&D on Sundays or something.
Yeah, you know, I made that whole video passing off G5E to Legion, and it's like I really did fall out of love with tabletop gaming just as a result of I don't know. There were so many complicating factors that made it unfun, and it's like I miss just playing a role playing game, you know.
But it's a case of yes, but this is a Gundam. This is a Gundam Noctis based on the Bawu. Yeah. So, but no, it's that does. Well, I wonder if that is something that I won't say you'll recover from because it's not necessarily a bad thing, but
Yornt.
yeah, yaunt.
Yornt recover from it.
Yeah, yaunt recover from it. But no, it's I do wonder if after a while you will want to get back into tabletop RPGs because on one hand, yeah, you're sick to death of it. Development is a difficult thing. Like just ask pretty much anyone who's made anything for a long amount of time, and they'll say, "Oh yeah, I like after I finished it, I can't stand it." I think
You know, I think that's even it's like the creator's curse, right? Because I think about like you know, the creator of Gundam himself, you know, like can't stand Gundam fans. He says that it's just the Gunpla fans, but I'm like, I think that you hate all Gundam fans.
yeah, no, oh, that's cool. I wish that I know it's unfeasible, but I wish there was like a little bit opened there that you could turn the hand into. Having a little rotating in.
See, that's exactly what the Bawu does. How it like the entire hand is like on a hinge.
One moment. Sorry, someone's just come in, so I was just shouting down hello. But yeah, no, it's well, it is. This is just a Bawu basically.
A Bawu with a Zeta head.
Yeah, I mean, tell me otherwise.
But it's still badass. It's something that like every Bawu / Zeta fan has dreamed of doing, and then
And they were just like, okay, yeah, there you go, have a kit for it.
no more.
Yeah, no, it's a it is an odd kit, but again, this is why I like build. This is a build kit. But where else would you have gone to get this? Like, 'cause they wouldn't do it in UC.
No, definitely not.
This is why build is the superior series. No,
I also tried to do it with my own high grade. Basically, you know, I made like the Zawu Gundam, and it sort of works, but
or Zeta is all I'll say.
oh, I need to finish the Core Zeta.
I know, it's why I mentioned it.
Right, it's like between that and eight guys on a base jabber.
No, I'll give you
You
credit
have to
where it's
keep
due.
me
I
honest.
have actually had 8 guys on a base Java now. You did post the STL, so I am content.
Speaking of which, I did get a this is like the first time I've gotten a affiliate offer from a company that is relevant to the things that I do, and it's from Creality, the 3D print company.
Ooh,
Um, Now they're not going to give me anything, but anybody that purchases from Creality's website using my reference link gets like, or well, it's like I get a commission off of that. And I was like, you're not even going to give them a coupon for like, how am I supposed to entice people to use my link if there's no benefit to them for it?
yeah. Hey, you gotta wonder that. Yeah, cool. You want to use my essentially my platform, my XYZ, but what like that's it. That's all you're gonna offer. Yeah, we'll be on your video.
But that is the 3D printer you have, right? The Creality Ender 3.
Uh, I don't, I don't know. I haven't touched it in ages because it stopped feeding a while ago, and I get a new nozzle.
Yeah, we need to repair that nozzle and get you printing again because I think that there's some fun things on the horizon.
Yeah. Realize I'm supposed to have made. It's not like I'm not going to be able to build it. Give me 10 minutes later. Oh no. That is.
Narrator, he was not in fact able to build it.
Which you guys didn't know, I'm gonna disintegrate in 10 seconds. Gonna cease to exist. I do not vibe with this reality. Okay, minor complaint. Why does it have opposable thumb but not opposable? Very very minor
Mighty
complaint.
good question. But I think it's a fair query, like
I'd say a opposable thumb. It's a thumb on a ball. My point stand. I was about to say
now
I
just
paid for the
cracks
skip,
me
but
up.
no, I didn't. All right. This is quite an interesting one because you can tell a lot about a model kit builder, or like a Lego builder. How do you just like how do you like pose and display it? Play your various.
Oh, that's a good question. So what's interesting is I very rarely will pose my mobile suits with melee weapons. I almost always use rifles and you know long range stuff.
Is there a
But I
particular
definitely
reason
fall
for that? You
prey to
just
like
prefer how they
dynamic.
look, or is
What's that?
there a particular reason for that? You just prefer how they look.
It is my tism. Uh,
Fair enough.
I have a problem with like beam effects parts because to me they're unrealistic compared to like LEDs and things. So it's like if I can't make something look like it's actually real, then I get really frustrated with it. And so at least if a Gundam's holding a rifle, I know that it can hold a rifle But if it's holding a little clear plastic beam saber thingy, I'm like, that's fake. That's a toy.
I'd say that's a fair note about it. I think I go purely off vibes.
Yeah, vibes are a big part of it for sure. Um,
Like, well, I agree. Mostly they are posed with rifles and such. The can't remember his name. Caliban, is that right?
yeah, Caliban.
Like one wing, sword over shoulder, just looks so good. I think probably the best posed one is my God Gundam up there, but he is on top of my bookshelf and very precariously balanced on a stand that doesn't quite fit. So I daren't touch it.
Exposability. The old god. But yeah, I mean, would you say there's like an optimal posing like stance or anything? Like do you go off of poses that just look cool, or do you try to like tell a story in your pose?
Um, Honestly, most of mine are just they look cool. Some of them I will try to recreate things like my Gurren Lagann that's over there has drill up in the air like he's about to do a Giga drill break.
Nice.
But I've seen lots of excellent poses for that. So it really, as I said, it's 100% of vibes. The only exception to that is, again, this piece of shit. Because he is a bastard to get standing. And that's the entire reason this arm is out more. You get falling over this way, so that just sprays the weight out that. Maybe as a little bonus thing in the stream, I'll take him to bits so you can see all the parts.
Ooh.
No, I say all the parts, all the like. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to bring up. Right? Fucking Power Rangers, rip in peace.
R.I.P. and pepperoni.
Yeah. Which I don't really watch Power Rangers. I watch Sentai instead because it's way better. But it's still a fucking shame. Like, how many people have like have had their childhoods, I wouldn't say molded by, but definitely influenced by Power Rangers. Like,
Oh,
I know I did.
I mean,
A very early photo I have of me is me dressed up in a Mystic Force Red Ranger costume. But I've still got the morph somewhere. Where? But it's somewhere.
I think you were gonna say that I still fit into.
God no.
One day that will be like the you know how there's like always the couple like, oh, you want to dress you want me to dress as like a French maid or a
Dress up as a Power Ranger.
It's gonna be men saying like, oh, you want me to dress in my Red Ranger outfit?
No, that always reminds me of the stand-up joke. So this is the red Power Ranger, the blue Power Ranger, the green Power Ranger, and the Power Ranger that wears white.
That's a good one.
No, I think I'll be 100% honest. I don't. If this is the end of Power Rangers, I feel like that's probably for the best. Like, I don't know if you have seen Don Brothers, but it was weird, man.
I mean, that's not exactly a glowing endorsement, but
No, it's an excellent series. Don't get me wrong; it's fucking pants-wettingly funny, but it's also violently Japanese. Like, the main riders. Can you tell I like Kamen Rider? The main rangers are Momotaro and his like group of animals that follow him. And I feel like that'd be a bit of a hard sell for.
Yeah, not sure Western audiences would buy that one. You know how we were talking earlier about stigma around watching particular types?
Yeah, that. No, but it was King Oja, the one that I just showed the mini plot of, would have been such a good Power Rangers. Seriously, 5 kings from, in theory, warring nations uniting for a common cause.
Yeah.
Like, King Oja was sick.
I guess that's one of the things about like Sentai and Power Rangers is like, you got to have some increased stakes.
Yeah,
and I think that
one of the best Power Rangers series is RPM, which looks really childish on the surface. They turned it into a fucking post-apocalypse story, and it was so fucking good.
see, that's what you need. And it's hard to keep pushing the envelope for 30, 35 years.
No, I admittedly, I think the comics are still going, so I think it's not like.
Yeah,
I don't think it's like
dead,
dead, but I think like the
not in a
show is
good place,
probably
for sure.
it's had declining viewers for.
Yeah.
You know what they need to do now? They need to bring over Kamen Rider instead. No, I'm just kidding. Do not touch. Actually, I say that, but Dragon Knight.
I was gonna say, I mean, did you ever watch when Masked Rider was in the U.S.?
Yeah, Master Rider was terrible. Dragon Knight was all right though. Dragon Knight was a bring through of Kamen Rider Ryuki, and that was an unironically really good adaptation. And do you want to know how they did it? They kept the story basically the same.
No, that's too hard. You know what they need to bring back is the big bad Beetleborgs.
Yeah. Oh, honestly, I wouldn't mind.
I hear you grinning over the camera.
Yeah. You're gonna hear me go, you motherfucker. Oh no, it's
Search your feelings, you know it to be
oh,
true.
absolutely. You're 100% correct. Don't get me wrong. But also, you motherfucker.
I just think it's hilarious that, like, when you look at Sentai or even Kamen Rider, it's like, they're so serious about where their powers come from and things like that. But then
Yeah, like
Beetleborgs,
this is like it was Kamen Rider Drive. Legitimately, one of the major plot points is, oh, there's only a finite number of these monsters. We are probably going to have to hunt them to extinction. And it's just like, what fuck? This is a child's show. You have just murdered a main character. Yeah, Kamen Rider don't fuck around. It's great. Watch Kamen Rider, it's good. Anyway, sorry, as you were saying, sorry.
Oh no, that's pretty much like I was saying. I mean, that's Kamen Rider's a lot more serious than having your powers granted to you by a werewolf and like a freaking ghost with a flubber nose and.
Yeah, no, there's some fucking weird tokusatsu out there. It's great. Okay,
that's the word. I remember on stream the other day, I was like, what is that genre called? Tonkatsu? And I was like, no, that's a type of ramen.
Tonkatsu. There's if you go looking for it, there's some fucking weird tokusatsu. Like
I believe it.
I think it was officially done by Toei, unofficial Sentai Akiba Ranger, and it's literally just an entire piss take of Sentai. Right. I just had K. K's the one with red on it. That's a case of. I really do think that. I think it has been that. Let me think for a second here how I want to explain this. Okay, so I think Tokusatsu lives and dies on its toys. I think that's no secret. Like Kamen Rider,
Yeah.
Power Rangers, Super Sentai, Ultraman, all that shit lives or dies on its toys. It is because it's because we have stuff like Geats, which had a shitload of like gimmicks, that we got stuff like Shin Kamen Rider. Amazing! It's on Amazon Prime. Go and watch it. You have no excuse. But it lives or dies on its toy sales, and I think Power Rangers toy sales were starting to taper off, and that's because in my opinion, there was no reasons for the collectors to go for them. Because while they are technically unique molds, the Megazords were worse, and I think that's the big seller. And that's no secret that Megazords are the big one.
Right, they have to be.
Yeah, they're by design they are the big one.
Literally.
But if you're a collector, why the fuck would you go for the Western release of it? It's like a tiny bit cheaper, but it's way fucking worse. Like, I know, like everyone imagines like the Megazord is like a brick, but to be fair, there's enough collector focused stuff out there that sometimes it is a toy is all you need.
Yeah, I mean, there are still people that collect Transformers. I mean, it's like it doesn't have to be like collector grade in order to be collector in order to have collector appeal. Is that
Scorp on the Discord, he's got an absolutely amazing collection. But you just look at G1. G1 is from a purely like Gundam point of view. Kind of shit. They're basically just blocks that have arms. But like, how many people would fucking kill for a first release this and all that? So no shame to collecting anything. There's nothing wrong with collecting. But doesn't mean
No.
I have to understand it.
We'll see, and then you can be like Adam from Gundam Explained and collect a new thing every week, right? Like I think this week his new thing is the Street Fighter's toys. And I say that not to I say that teasingly towards Adam because
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I
are men
think
really
it's
friends if they
funny
don't
that-
rip the shit out of each?
Yeah,
Like-
I mean the new running theme on the Gundam Explained channel is basically everyone saying like, okay, Castlevania explained when, Street Fighter explained when. Like, Exo Squad was another passion.
You say that, but Lego
But
Exo
we all
Squad
get
was
those.
kind of the shit.
You know, I remember having the old like what is it? I almost said T.J. Miller, but the Miller figure. But T.J. Miller's the comedian. But yeah, I had that Miller figure that comes with the like winged mech.
Mm. That doesn't narrow it down
Yeah.
really. That you had wing. I
That
must admit,
winged mech.
I have been doing more Lego recently.
Oh
It's
really?
it's not as complicated, but it's still an interesting build. Like right now, I basically I do a Lego evening with my family. We all get a Lego kit and we get to take our pizza and build a Lego. And right now I'm halfway through the Lego Orient Express because trains.
Ooh.
If you're
No.
aware of me, you're aware of my love of steam locomotive.
No, that's sweet. I think all families should have something like that,
Oh, absolutely.
whether it's
Like
a Lego night or
I understand that not everyone has the most pleasant relationship with their family. Like I said, if you know, you know, with my family. But it is nice to have something that we all sit and do.
oh,
And I would
absolutely.
highly recommend that to anyone.
Yeah, and Lego's a good one because it's like you can all be building together, but you can all have like different, because there's so many different franchises that Lego has,
Mm.
glommed onto that.
One sec. One sec. I return. Sorry about that.
Speaking of family,
Yep. Speaking
chores
of,
about.
no,
No, I kid.
Mum and Tony are they're off on something or other today 'cause it's their anniversary. So
Oh, congratulations.
yeah. So they're off enjoying that. So
As they should.
yeah, we're off London Saturday. Mum got tickets to see Starlight Express. So
Ooh.
gonna be the gathering the clans down there. I've got aunties coming, cousins, all that.
That should
Does
be
mean
fun.
I might. After I've done one leg, I'll probably call the stream because obviously there is shopping down there that has freezer stuff, so I need to do that. Actually, I probably should call it here if it's freezer stuff. No, we'll call it here. Well, you've got not too long before Gundam Explain show starts. Which I don't know, do you? I don't know when it
Yeah,
starts.
it starts in a little bit, but for those of you wondering, the reason I was late to the stream is because I had to put my daughter down for her nap. She'll be waking up here in about 15 to 30 minutes. So,
Yeah. So before we end the stream, plug anything you want. There's a couple of people in chat, but
yeah, subscribe to Unusualist Pyro, because these are the types of quality streams that we that we offer from time to time, right?
yeah, I do need to get more people on.
Yeah, I love when you've got like whether it's a build stream or you're doing Space Terraria, when you've got a guest on that you're bouncing back and forth with, that's the most fun.
Yeah, I will admit I am a better streamer when I have someone to bounce off. It's no secret.
I mean, that's the reason that Adam and I were just like, "Hey, do you just want to do each other's shows together?"
I was about to say, yeah, there was a very minor cut out for a second there from after do each other on my end, so I was like, oh, hang about. In case you didn't know, Adam is actually the father of his child.
Yes, we do each other twice a week. But no,
But
speaking of which, I do want to get you on record as committing to come on Midnight Hatter Live here sometime in the next
oh
few
yeah, sure,
weeks when
absolutely.
you have time.
I'm more than happy to.
Hell yeah, we'll come up with a fun topic. Maybe share your finished Lindwurm.
Yeah. But whether that'll be I finish it later or I finish it next week is up in the air. Although I have told I will just go and get something out the pile. It feels weird having a backlog because I normally just go right very quickly.
I was gonna say you are a much faster and committed builder than I am.
That's probably next. And
Oh yeah.
I think I pitched this in the Discord, but the first thought came into my head with that one is, wouldn't it be cool if I did like an RAF Lancaster bomber sort of paint job on it? So that might be a next project, or the Chemthrower Leo finally.
Hey, don't tease us.
Yeah, no.
That's partially why I sent you the decals, as I was.
You just get on with it.
These,
No, I will very quickly just. Oh, I said I would. I said I would at the end of stream. There's so many just like bits to this.
I mean, for a quote mini pla, there's actually quite a lot going on with that.
Well, I will be. This is two sets. This is set 1 and set 2. Set 1 was the regular Megazord.
But I
Two
love
Gods,
that
King
scale.
Oja. Which again, if you haven't watched King Oja, highly recommend. It's an excellent series. You can see I'm having to put quite a lot of force on some of these joints to get them apart. But it is
looks like, I would say, more durable plastic than your typical Gunpla. Am I correct in assuming that?
they're probably about the same, so be careful, but you should be fine.
Okay.
But let's start putting some of these guys together, because it is really cool how some of them are done. Like the leg spikes and the chest become a grasshopper. Obviously, if you don't want to build it yourself, there is like the DX range.
There you
She's
go.
it's
But
a
hey, I
grasshopper.
love when things turn into other things. That is a.
Arm's a scorpion. And see if you can take a guess what that is, just from looking at it like that.
I have no idea. Is that a lizard of some kind or a frog?
No, they're all insects.
Oh, they're all insects.
But
Like a hornet?
nope. Beetle.
Oh.
It's the second beetle, actually.
He looked too skinny to be a beetle.
Yeah, but when it all folds up.
Then yeah, I see now the. Is that a Hercules beetle? Is that the one that has like the big snout that flips them?
Yeah, it's like a
Or am I
scarabee sort.
pincer?
I must admit, I don't like the legs. The Semantis bee.
Yeah. I mean, the mantis could be cool, right?
The mantis could be cool, but it's too small. That's my
Yeah.
one major complaint about this Megazord. Like, the bee's not bad, but it feels like it wants to be way bigger.
Because I was gonna say, like, Scyther is one of my favorite Pokemon, and I don't even like bug types.
Yeah, no, my second favorite Pokemon is a bug type. Bug steel type, so try and guess.
Oh well, if it's not if it's not Gen 1 or 2, then I have no idea.
No, it's Gen 5. It's S Cavalier, the Snail Knight.
Oh yeah. He's a cute little guy.
Yeah, so it's a
With his
cool.
little
Although
Ooh, speaking of Pokemon and Gundams and transforming things and the way that my autistic mind can link one thing to the other, did you by chance see that Gundam Gusion Blastoise custom that was floating around on Twitter the other day? I knew you did.
Have you seen it with the other two in that custom range? The I can't remember which one it is, but one's a Charizard, one's a Venusaur.
Yeah, I mean it's perfect. See, so where is your Gundam Torterra?
I haven't bought the Zoid for it.
Ooh, how cryptic.
It's not. It is Hatter in the corner. Hey, Shirt Dude, how's it going, gamer? How was your crash stream the other day? I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to pop in. You're not supposed to. And I'm trying to remember what the other Zords in this. It's the other Zords in the range are. There's like a castle that turns into a beetle that turns into a Megazord, and there's a tarantula, I think. Yeah. Then there's like a snail blaster. The millipede chainsaw is a pretty cool one. Yeah, there's red Zord, red, blue. Nice. Purple, black, yellow, with a bunch of auxiliary Zords, 2 ladybirds, 2 spiders, and an ant, and then scorpion, beetle, popper. Yeah. The other one I got is the Boon Boonja Robo, but I'm not sure about Boon Boonja. I don't know if I'm. I should get Drakon if I want to do a mini plus stream, shouldn't I?
Hey, that would be awesome.
If I get him on for a stream, it'll probably be when the new Monster Hunter comes out.
Ooh,
Yeah, no.
Ooh, that's soon, right? Isn't that like the end of the month?
I don't know if it's end of the month, but I know it is soon. They got to the point where they're announcing all the changes to the weapons, so everyone can complain about them before it actually goes on. But
nice.
As long as the lance still is the best weapon, which here's a hint it will be. Not because of anything else, just because the lance is my favorite. Like, if you subscribe to twitch.tv/unusualspyro, no, it was you can hear an unfortunate quote caught that Drac asked me to make my sub notification.
I wonder, you ought to see if we can get Vampy in touch with you, because she's really hyped about the new Monster Hunter as well.
I must admit, I don't know if hyped is the right word, but I think I am excited for it. Because I'm not 100% sold on the new mount, the like Monster Hunter. It's not a chocobo, I swear. They're like more lizardy than chocobos. I don't know why I'm being so like picky about it.
Yeah, like you say that as if you're not going to get one and ride it.
Oh, abso-fucking-lutely. Like, honestly, I'll probably end up doing the same thing I did with the Rise, even though I do regret it. And that's I'll play through all the single player stuff and then get bored of it because I don't want to play multiplayer. Because I'm just antisocial.
You know, there's certain games that like even just because there's multiplayer there doesn't mean that it's necessarily like good.
No, the unfortunate thing with Monster Hunter is single player is basically a extended tutorial.
Yeah. I mean,
So
my limited experience with Monster Hunter is the missions in Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker.
It's pretty weird because I was watching Misty Not the Bad Guy is like Metal Gear character breakdowns earlier. And I'd love to do Metal Gear on stream, but I am not the right commentator for that. I do not have the patience for it.
Oh, I think you could handle it.
Unless you want me doing a terrible Solid Snake impression the entire time. No, you don't. Doing Metal Gear every silence.
I wish that I could add like the codec close noise for every time someone leaves my stream.
Well, can't you add that as like a Discord leave noise? You can do it when you leave a call.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I need to be better with like webcam. People have probably noticed that the last couple weeks when I've been streaming, I don't have my webcam on, but that's just because it's been hot as shit and I don't like how I look in just a vest. Like, for those who don't know, it was like
nearing the end of summer, you're not going to have that heat wave going on.
Yeah, it was like 35 degrees Celsius. It's been much cooler today, to be fair, but
For those of you who use freedom units, that's like 86, 89 degrees.
I know that's not that hot for Americans, but it's also humid as fuck.
Yeah, it's a different kind of heat. Speaking of which, did you see that guy's Instagram reel that was like, yeah, I hear that there's a heat wave going on in England right now. It's actually only 90 degrees in Texas. But it's just different, and he walks outside and his glasses fog up instantly.
Yeah.
He's like, it's just slightly different.
But no, in all seriousness, stay hydrated. It's only going to get hotter.
Yeah. Likewise, brother.
You know, I'll make a promise here. Next January, I will do an entire like run through of all the Metal Gear games on one condition. I want someone to come on the stream and sing the entirety of the Snake Eater song. Because that song fucking slaps.
I'll let my little brother know. He's got it. He's memorized it.
It's a fucking good song though. I'll give it credit where it's due.
Yeah, I mean that was definitely the most. Even though it doesn't have the most cutscenes of any Metal Gear game, it is the most cinematic.
Absolutely.
It's got like a Bond theme to it. It's. I
No,
think even
the best like
pointed out.
I will be slightly controversial here. It is not the best like Bond-esque theme for a game. That goes to Spy and a Liar from I Expect You to Die 2. If you have not listened to it, do yourself a favor.
I'm gonna have to check that out then.
I'll send you a link to it later. Right. That is going to be streamed now. I've put him back together. Thank you very much, Hatter, for coming along. It's always a pleasure to have you on the stream.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, if you aren't already, go subscribe to Hatter. Should we also plug Gundam Explain even though he's not here?
Hey, yeah. If you guys are hanging out for a little while, I guess it's in 3 hours we're gonna have the Gundam Explain show. So, what time is that gonna be for you?
It's gonna be at 10 o'clock for me.
10 p.m.
I'll probably be awake. What's up, Echo? What's up? What are you? Wait.
Wait, what? Wait.
Yeah, no. Echo's like, wait.
I see that, Mr. Poppy Pyro. I actually don't know what we're going to be talking about on the Gundam Explain show today.
It's Fakecraft and it's a custom pack, unfortunately. The SMP's created on. Right, I'll let you go poke your child or whatever the fuck you do as a father. I assume it's just taking a long stick and repeatedly poking your child until they start crying.
Pretty much that.
Yeah.
Yeah, go put your groceries away, sir.
Yeah, I'm gonna go put my food shopping away and then probably do some dinner. So thanks.